I'm Shannon Brooksbank for Spotlight North Bay. Andre Larose is a singer-songwriter right here in North Bay, and I had the chance to find out all about him, his musical influences, his album, his new music that he's kept to himself until now. And we'll start with how he got his start.
My start in music came from, simply put, repeated viewings of Purple Rain. I couldn't get enough of that movie when I was a kid. And end scene with him playing that guitar solo in the crowd. And him storming out and coming. I was just like, this is what I got to do. So I had no musical talent whatsoever. Probably still don't. But just learned, practice. It's what I wanted to do. So.
Did you start with playing guitar and singing, or was it one or the
God,
other?
No. It was guitar first. That's what I fell in love with. But singing came later, just because I found that I liked doing that as well.
When you started, were you writing your own stuff, or was it just all Prince all the time?
No, not at all. Actually, I couldn't play a Prince song to save my life, and that's what I loved about him, I guess. So no, I at that point had started drifting off into look at all these crazy guitar players out there. So I started to emulate that whole scene at the time, which was crazy instrumental rock, and I couldn't play that either. But so I guess I was more of a dreamer for the first few years because I didn't know where I was going. But then I started to discover artists that I liked.
Who were some of your musical influences? Who were the ones that you were listening to growing up?
Growing up, I can't say it all started with Prince. I guess most of it started with Prince. But then I drifted off into Tears for Fears was a huge influence. I know most people can't say that, but I can. And I still can. I'm still a huge fan to this day. And it just runs all over the map from there. I got into the grunge scene at some point. Nirvana Pearl Jam was a huge influence at some point. King's X, a lot of unknown bands, I could say. U2 was probably another big, huge influence. Those guys hit me. But they hit me late. I got into them rather late. Mm-hmm. And but rediscovered a whole way of looking at music. So
you were playing and singing. At what point did you start writing?
I guess I had always been writing at some point. You always copy your heroes and try to emulate. But eventually, you try to put your own, I want to see what I can do with this.
Let's take a listen to how that's evolved for Andre into him becoming a songwriter. Here's The Ghost Inside.
I close my eyes and drift to sleep. She takes my breath away.
The Ghost Inside by Andre Larose off of his album Slipping Into Fiction. So how did this record come to be?
I had finally sat down and had enough material kicking around that I thought, hey, you know what? If you're going to do it yourself. So I caught up with a producer friend of mine and I said, hey man, I really want to do this. And he was really itching to cut his teeth and show the world what he could do. So we got together and for a year straight, we just worked on 12 songs and put it all together. We rented a house and we just lived there for a year.
It was Derek?
Derek Gagne, yes. Also a North Bay native.
Did you write all these songs on here?
I did, with the exception of a hidden song that's on there. The whole album was really just an analyzation of my feelings for this girl that I once knew. And it made for great music, or at least thoughtful music, and it made me think a lot.
Do you take your music as somewhat of a release, a form to express yourself?
Oh, definitely. It's pretty much the reason I get up every day. And usually the reason I go to sleep, too. But, I couldn't see myself doing anything else.
And you said that you've been working on some new music.
I have. I've never stopped creating. So I have some new songs kicking about. So I brought one for you to listen to, if you would like.
What's it called?
It's called Home, ironically written about this very city. I came back from the launch of the solo album #1 here, and coming back, it was nice to just come back home and be back where everything was familiar.
Let's take a listen. Here's Andre Larose and Home. Home by Andre Larose, and there's also more new music, right?
Yeah, there was basically an entire album was crafted. Maybe not finished in its entirety, but...
So why didn't you ever release it? Why didn't you ever just get it all together?
It's funny. It's ironically, it was going to be called Believe. And I, when it came time to put it out, I really just didn't believe at all. So I thought this is the worst thing I can do is put this CD out, or put this out as a CD. So it's just sitting there. But I know there's some great songs on there, but I got more focused on the band, and I was more interested in that. So
And then you've also said that you got your band Simple Gypsy that you've been working with as well.
at this point, I think I'm tired of being a solo guy. So but I love playing music, and I always thought it's great to be. I want to be in a band, and because I'll talk at great length about a band. I always thought it'd be great I could talk at great length about a band, but I was always rather shy talking about myself because I always felt like I was being very egotistical. So about a band I can go on and on about. So I decided to start a band, and it is called Simple Gypsy, and it's in its preliminary stages. We're writing stuff right now.
How can people get in touch with you?
At this point, it's I'm communicating online with most of the people that want to stay in touch with me. It's I got a Facebook page out there, and of course the MySpace page, and a YouTube page that keeps track of all the little video shows and acoustic stuff that we're doing.
Now, are those under Andre Larose, or is that under Simple Gypsy?
You'll find them under both.
Thanks to Andre Larose for stopping by. You can catch Andre June 16th at Cecil's with Brian Risk. I'm Shannon Brooksbank for Spotlight North Bay.